I'm Eric Nasa with NewsShooter.com, and I'm here at Cinegear Expo 2017, and I'm with Seth. And Seth, tell me a little about your position.
So I'm the marketing director for CW Sonder Optic. We're the sister company to Leica Camera. We do all the design and manufacturing of the Leica Cine lenses.
Fantastic. And you have a new line of lenses coming out. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, so end of March we introduced a new line of large format cinema spherical lenses. So it's a set of primes designed to cover up to the Alexa 65 sensor, which is a massive 60 millimeter diagonal, but as a consequence, it covers everything else. So it covers VistaVision, full frame, Super 35, and any other format basically that's out there.
So any other smaller sensor basically is going to get the sweet spot of these lenses.
Yeah, so VistaVision's the sweet spot, Super 35 is the sweet spot of the sweet spot, exactly.
And talk to me about the characteristics of these lenses. They're a little bit different. You guys are going in a little bit of another direction.
Yeah, so there's a tendency for manufacturers to be very consistent, to try and do repeatability through different iterations of lenses, to keep customers familiar with what's going on. And there are some things that we did want to keep in there. So like color temperature, we feel a warmer color temperature brings out good skin tone. So we matched it to the Summilux and Summicrons. And then, we, with our build quality, our mechanics, we tried to match all of that with the build quality of our other Cine lenses. Where we tried to take a little different tact is with the look. So, you've seen the trend. We've all seen the trend of people shooting digital sensors, but with vintage lenses. The older, the dirtier, the worse, the better, And so we didn't want to make a bad set of lenses or a compromised set, but we said there are some characteristics here that we can build into the lenses. And so two of the things that we did was we backed off the sharpness on the lenses. So they're clear. You don't have a feeling of a filter or a fog or haze, but they're not as tack sharp as some of the other lenses that we've made. The other thing, which is a little more into the vintagey feel, is the focus field and the curvature of the focus field. So you look at an older lens on a sensor, you start to see the focus fall off on the edges. What we want to do is preserve a little bit of that, because you can correct that out in lens design, but what that gives you is this kind of center-weighted focus, this dimensionality, this curvature of field that can really be very cinematic. Yeah. And it's what people are used to using when they go back to vintage lenses. So we left that in as well.
Now I'm kind of getting into the vintage lens world. It's a little bit of a, I guess, what do they call it, like a rabbit hole?
Yes, very deep. It goes back decades and decades, yeah.
And the mechanics of these lenses, how are they different? And they're pretty much trying to be consistent with the original Leica.
Yeah, so what we did with these is that we matched the iris and the focus ring locations with the Summilux and Summicron. So those are completely matched. You could switch back and forth from any of those three sets, and your ring locations will be in the same location. Mm-hmm. We also kept a uniform 95 millimeter front for all focal lengths, from 24 millimeters to 180. And that is a 95 millimeter diameter with a threaded 92 millimeter front, so you can do screw-in filters.
Oh, nice. That's uncommon.
That is very uncommon. To do that in a cinema lens is rather uncommon, but in a photography lens, it's a lot more common. They have those in a lot. So, but we saw, people want smaller camera packages, lighter lenses, lighter drone operation kind of things. Being able to screw in an ND can save you a lot of weight on a matte box.
And I was also impressed because when I was holding one, it kind of took me back. I was like, wow, this is really light. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for these to cover the Alexa 65, every one of these lenses is under 4 pounds. Half of them are under 3 pounds. And in size, you see here, this is the scale, the longest and the shortest. They're rather tiny for what they cover.
And they're pronounced Thalia?
Thalia.
I almost had it. I was so close.
It depends on your regional diction, I suppose.
All right, Seth. Well, thank you for showing us these. What do they retail for? And I guess the full set is actually going to be more available as opposed to you guys bringing them out one by one?
Right. So the reason that we're planning to start delivery in July, which announcing in March. End of March. Delivery in July is a pretty fast turnaround for this industry, and we did that very deliberately. So we waited till we felt like things were really in a good spot with the pre-production and then into production. So they're going to be coming rather soon. Price-wise, they average per lens around $22,000 to $23,000, and we're looking at a set of 9 from 24 to 180 millimeters.
And you want that set to be available at the same time?
Almost. We could have waited longer. 3 of the lenses are going to come later in the year, the 24, 55, and 120. But we're going to start out in July with the 30, 35, 45, 70, 100, and 180.
I think that's enough to get you going, right?
Based on the requests that we've had, I think so. Yeah, there's plenty of people that want to start shooting with them right away. So now we just have to build them.
Fantastic. Thank you, Seth. Great to talk to you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.